Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is North Sports Dynasty on again. Oh, my goodness gracious, I have glasses on. It is episode 10. That's right, 10. Pow! Pow, pow! Episode 10. Welcome to the show. I am one half of your host of this show, Mr. Andrew Lefebvre. It was probably really loud in your ears, and I do not apologize. And this is my other side of the house, a little bit more calm, a little bit more sedated, but also not to be hated, only because he is a Lions fan, Mr. Alex Loosemore. How are we doing today?
We're doing pretty good. We'll talk that trade in a second here, but making some moves in the Dynasty League there, and a lot of news to go over. So yeah, it's been a pretty busy week sports-wise. Yes,
it's actually quite nice. I mean, apparently COVID is just ramsacked everybody a lot worse than what it was last year, but we got a lot more sports than we did last year, so that's weird, but that's the world we live in. So thank you for tuning in to us, so we get you a little bit away from that. We do have a couple of things we want to get going here first, like one, me sharing the crap out of this link here. So it goes to Twitter, and it goes to, where did you put it by?
I did Twitter and Facebook.
Twitter and Facebook. Okay, perfect. So then, hold on. So if we just go share here. Nope. Yeah. Anyways, so we got a few things that we're going to go over today. We got the early looks of our playoffs that are happening, and both NBA and NHL go a little bit more in depth into the NHL because we actually know what is happening and who is playing.
And it starts tonight. Yeah, that came up quick.
Starts tonight.
Yeah.
That's right. A few teams are going to be playing tonight.
I believe Washington-Boston is the first game.
That's right. And down below, we got a bet on it. That's right. As you can see down below, we tell you who's going to win game one. And we will talk about that more in depth in a bit. But first, while I start to share this show a little bit around, we have a segment that we do here first, and that's making sure that everybody here is all up to date on some of the crazy stuff that has happened around the news. Mr. Loosemore with the news. Please take it away. Tell them what the heck is going on around the league.
All right, so we'll start in the NFL. Start with a few things of Broncos news, both injury related, not good at all. So last week, I said that Juwan James, their right tackle, tore his Achilles off-site, and the whole thing of whether they're going to pay him, whether they're not going to pay him. They're not, because they just released him yesterday or the day before. He's a good tackle, so once he gets healthy, he should be able to find work, no problem. It's just unfortunate that they took the cheap way out. And then their wide receiver, Deshaun Hamilton, tore his ACL working out off-site.
So he's getting released too.
It actually came out the same day that he was about to be traded. It was like hours away from him being traded. They didn't say who to, but he was about to be traded, and then they found out he tore his ACL, so that obviously went out the window, which sucks for both Deshaun and the Broncos, and whichever team was going to get Deshaun.
Of course.
Because he's a good receiver. He's young. He's talented. He's just buried on that depth chart. They've got so many good weapons there. It was just hard for him to get any playing time. The Washington football team signed defensive back Bobby McCain. Spent the last few seasons with the Dolphins. Had a good year last year. Is going to be a good veteran depth piece, probably at safety. Could fight for that free safety spot alongside Landon Collins playing the strong safety there. Former first-round pick Kelvin Benjamin is trying to make a return to the league. He will be trying out for the New York Giants, not as a receiver, as a tight end.
Yeah.
Which was his probably where he should have played all along. He's that big body, not fast at all. Really good, good hands though. So I think there could be something there.
Hey, Tebow. Hey, Calvin Benjamin. Hey, anybody who used to play in the league, you want to make a return? You're just going to have to accept that you're a tight end now.
Well, speaking of Tebow's back in the NFL for the first time in, what is it, like 9 years, 8 years, something like that.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I saw something the last time Tebow started a game in the NFL, Fields and Lawrence were like 12 years old. So, yeah, he's back as a tight end with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Signed a 1-year deal, not a lot of money into it. He's got to prove that he can play. So far from what I've heard, they like him there. They've done the workouts and all that, like field stuff, and he's checked all the boxes for him so far. They don't really have much in the way of tight end, so I see him probably making the roster. Yeah, it's just an interesting thing because I personally never thought he was going to play again.
There should be no reason why Tebow is in. I agree with what a lot of people say.
Oh, yeah. But it's all about who you know, though.
And it sells jerseys. It sells jerseys.
Absolutely.
We're talking about it. People are pissed off across the league about it. And if you saw my tweet about it, people came at me pretty hard when I tweeted at Shannon Sharp, but they're like, you're wrong. I get it. I get it. At the same time, it's Tebow. You don't burn bridges. People need to understand that. Stop burning bridges. Tebow has never burned a bridge in his life. He won Urban Meyer 2 national tutties, for crying out loud. And we're just going to sit here and think that he wasn't going to try and bring him back. If Aaron Hernandez was still alive, he'd try to bring him back too. Okay?
Jesus.
I'm saying it. That's just who Urban Meyer is. Look who he had on his roster first. He had that one, no offense, the racist dude. And he actually tried to defend him for like 24 hours. And the league and like the ownership came down and was like, no, you're letting him the fuck go.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is who Urban Meyer is, guys. Like, he's going to familiarize himself first. It doesn't matter what the background is. The man was caught on an interview with some dude on a boat. He does not care what it looks like, okay?
No.
Tim Tebow's going to catch footballs. He's going to sell jerseys.
We'll see.
No. Tim Tebow's going to – no.
He's got to make the roster first.
The punt team. Tebow, the punt team.
Maybe.
I could probably see that. What else you got?
So the last NFL news. So there was the USA track and field championships last Sunday, and DK Metcalf ran in the 100-meter. Mind you, he's 6'4" and 240, so just a massive human being. And he ran the 100-meter in 10.37 seconds, which is insane for somebody of that size. Just unreal. Just shows how freakish of an athlete he really is. Go watch that video of him chasing down Buda Baker from their 5-yard line all the way down to the freaking 30-yard line of the other team. Just crazy. We'll hop over to the NBA. So the NBA has become more of an offensive league, obviously, over the last few years. But now they're starting to push back a little bit. They're going to start looking into the shot forms of elite shooters like James Harden, Trae Young, all these guys that draw all these foul shooting threes. And, I mean, it's obvious. They jump into the guy, flail, and throw it up. It needs to stop. It's ruining the game, personally.
Agreed.
So probably about a month ago now, I reported that Alex Rodriguez and a group were buying the Minnesota Timberwolves. That purchase has become official for $1.5 billion.
So cheap.
Well, I mean, they're an awful franchise. So
I mean,
as much as I love the team, they're an awful franchise.
Yeah, $1.5 billion for a franchise, though. I mean, nowadays, that. Man.
Yeah, that's nothing. Russell Westbrook did end up breaking the all-time triple-double record last Saturday. And the playoffs start on Tuesday with the play-in tournaments. So we'll get into that, I'm assuming, in a little bit here.
Yep.
When we start talking playoffs. We'll hop over to the NHL now. Obviously, as I said before, playoffs start tonight. Lightning winger Nikita Kucherov will make his season debut for Game 1 when the Tampa Bay Lightning play the Florida Panthers. Obviously, he's going to be rusty. He hasn't played in almost a year. But that's a huge get for Tampa. If he can get back into rhythm by the time, if they make it to like the second, third, fourth rounds, look out. Because they're getting Stamkos back too. They're going to be firing on all cylinders right away. That's a team to watch out for sure.
What if I just roll my eyes as hard as I could into the back, like the Undertaker, just because these guys piss me off. You guys should have put them in. And I get it. Like, everybody, props to you. Props to you. Found the loophole. Fuck off. Whatever. Cool. Kucherov, Stammies. You lost Braden Point apparently today though, so that sucks. Yeah, I retweeted it earlier. I'm gonna see if it's still a thing. We don't know if he's actually injured, but he did like throw his stick off into the stands, a little pissed off at practice today. So might be a little injured.
Something like that.
We hope so. We hope it's nothing major. Even if it is my enemy team, never hope for it to be a major thing. What else you got?
The last thing for the NHL. Alexander Ovechkin says, well, they're talking contract negotiations. He's pushed it to the side for now, which is smart. He came out and said, let's go win the cup. Then we'll talk extension.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how long that extension is. See how much he's really got left. I don't really have anything else on that. If you want to say anything on that, otherwise I'll move to baseball. They give him like a 3-year extension just so he can like chase the record. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And if he's okay with that, and I think, and I hate to say this, but the only reason he would stay in the league and do that is if he also has a way to like chase the cup. And if he loses this year, like if he gets to like the final 2 and he loses, or if he wins, I think he's done. I think if he gets to the Stanley Cup Finals this year, I think he might be done, to be honest.
Interesting.
So I think he's going to have to be knocked out early in order for him to still have that fire and then be able to talk in the offseason and be like, all right, okay, you give me 3 years, we'll take care of it. We'll call it the day. Don't worry. So, yeah. All right, what do you got for baseball?
Okay, just one thing. Toronto has built a ball diamond recently, just a public one, and they named it after legendary Jays pitcher Roy Halladay. Yeah, I just threw this in there because he was one of my favorite pitchers growing up. I was not a fan of the Blue Jays whatsoever, but I was a huge Roy Halladay fan.
I was a big Roy Halladay fan too, and one of the reasons, like, I remember growing up in Ontario, media in Ontario for any Ontario player is going to be bad no matter what. Doesn't matter if you're winning. It doesn't matter if you're even there playing. If you play in Ontario and you play for that team, it's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So the coolest thing, though, was when he went to Philadelphia and he actually got to win a national title with the Phillies.
Yeah.
And there was the game, and I'll have to find out all the details for this because I think they have to make a documentary about this one day.
Oh, I'd assume so.
Is when Roy was about to come back and play the Blue Jays in the Sky Dome for the first time, obviously as a Philly and stuff like that. There was a threat out by like a local gang that was like, Roy Halladay is not to touch the mound, or like there's going to be some shit that goes on. And like, you know, that's why I don't want to say too much because I don't know if it was like directly targeted at Roy or just like people in the stands or people in Toronto. But they basically threatened. They were like, he ain't taking the mound against the fucking Blue Jays in Toronto. He can go to Philly. That's fine. You don't ever play against Toronto here. That's not happening. We will kill. Don't you understand? And I was like, oh shit. Like, okay. That's intense. So yeah, Roy was a different animal. And it is sad that he's not with us to this day, but I am glad that the Blue Jays are doing that for him. So that has been the news update.
I got one.
What you got?
I'm adding another league to it. So I'm throwing in the UFC.
Oh yeah, what you got?
So there's a huge card tonight. The co-main and the main event are both lightweight bouts. The co-main is Tony Ferguson, who's 26-5 versus Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
with a record of 24-1. And the main event is Khabib's lightweight title that he vacated is on the line. Charles Oliveira, 38-0. 30 wins, 8 losses, 0 draws. Versus Michael Chandler with a record of 22-5 in his second ever UFC contest. Is fighting for the belt. Tyron Woodley, who just ran out his contract, called out Jake Paul, wants to fight him now.
Oh my God.
I think Paul's got to go against a real boxer.
I also agree.
Whether it's somebody that throws heavy hands in the UFC or whether it's an actual legitimate boxer, he's got to go against a true fighter and not somebody way past his prime like Ben Askren.
Yeah, no, that was just. I still think he took a fall. That's just me. I still think he took a fall. I would.
He was way too happy after the fight.
Yeah. Looking at some odds for tonight. I took 2 bets. One is a parlay. Yeah.
Okay.
One is a parlay. So I got Michael Chandler winning tonight. I only put $2 on it just to say that I got to win.
Yeah.
And the parlay though that I did is to win $15. We got Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, and Caitlin Trudaglan or however you say your name there. All in a parlay with plus 750 odds. All 3 of them win tonight. That's $15 in your pocket on a $2 bet.
Interesting.
So it's not too bad. Tony Ferguson is the underdog tonight. That's the one that I was.
Yeah, he's gotten his ass kicked the last few times. This could be if he loses bad again, this could be it for him. Yeah, and the last 2 fights, I think he should have. One of the last 2 fights, he should have at least won. I think that was a bad call. I think that was the title fight too. So it needs a redeeming shot. I get it. Yeah. 2 more things.
Yep.
So shockingly, it's only been 2 or 3 weeks. Chris Weidman is walking again after completely shattering his leg. It's on those anti-gravity treadmills. Okay. But he's putting weight on it again. he broke it in half.
That guy's crazy.
And he's already doing that. I'm just blown away by that.
That guy's crazy.
And the UFC was teasing that John Jones and Ngannou super fight for the heavyweight title. Yeah. For now, it's being pushed off because they can't agree on the money.
Never can.
Jones has always negotiated his own fights. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is now he's backing out. He's hiring an agent to do it for him. So we'll see if there's some common ground there that can be met. So now they're moving to Ngannou defending against Derek Lewis.
Interesting.
That should be a good fight.
Derek is a good fight, though. Yeah.
They're both heavy hands. It's just going to be throwing bombs at each other.
Oh, of course. That's what everybody wants to see.
Yes,
I want to see
absolutely.
it. I'll pay them to see that. Except I don't allegedly. That's
all I got.
All right. So that's been the news here. Oh, sorry. Looks like somebody had to make a roster move in a different league. Anyways, so that has been the news. There's lots more with the news. And now, basically going to get into a couple of little things. As you see, we got some bets down below. We got some NFL futures that I decided to go in since me and Alex are getting ready for next week's edition where quick glimpse. What? That's all you get.
Mine's on the other side of the whiteboard. I'm not flipping it.
Exactly. We do our NFL 2021-2022 season predictions 1.0 Bucks and Lions edition. Way too early, obviously. This is like with the rules that we're stating right now is, we're still assuming Deshaun Watson stays in Houston and plays. We're assuming Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay and plays. And we're also assuming all rosters stay completely healthy as of right now. Yeah. Our 2.0s come out 1 week, like preseason time type thing. The last week of preseason. That's when that comes out. And we basically hold ourselves accountable for what they are. That being said, when I went and did this, I started to see some patterns. So I went and placed some bets to see what Vegas was thinking. There's a couple of things where me and Vegas have very different opinions on, including one being the Houston wins totals, which a lot of people I've realized are not on the same page with me, and I'm totally okay with that right now. We will talk about that next week. But as you can see, we have future bets at the bottom, and one bet that is there is the Rams with over 10 wins. If you can get the Rams at 11 wins, which I think is very easy, I actually have them getting over that. They're right now with plus money, but plus 105. Dallas to get 10 wins is also at plus money right now.
That one's going to be close, I think.
It is. And I have them at the 9-10 mark and this, that, and everything else.
How do they only have Seattle at 9? Oh, that's under 9. Interesting.
That's why you're going to have to wait until next week. But I do. And this is where I'm not trying to piss off a fan base or anything like that. This is just how things went. And right now, how the things go and the way Seattle's schedule is doesn't look pretty. But also rookie of the year, 1,200 odds. Najee Harris. It's a pretty interesting bet and a pretty good bet if you ask me. I would take that any day of the week. Because it seems pretty easy. He's got the starting role pretty much off the bat. Jamar Chase is another close one, but Jamar Chase is pretty much up there where you're not going to win too much money. The other one, I can't remember the other big one was, I think it was
Lawrence.
Kyle Pitts. Lawrence and Kyle Pitts were the other two big ones.
Yeah.
So those are the future bets. As for tonight, got a couple of bets. We got the Vancouver Edmonton game. I got Edmonton winning by 2 goals. You got some money there. I think McDavid's just going to start going off and get on to his playoff. Get it all ready for the playoffs. Boston and Washington game 1 tonight. I'm going to take the Washington winning game 1. They have Zdeno Chara. They have Ovechkin. They have Backstrom, and they have Tom Wilson. They have the company. They can get under the skin. This is going to be a good game. I love playoff.
It's going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. I'm taking Washington on this one. I know a few Boston fans are going to come at me, and you can come at me all you want. It's going to be fun to see Boston and Washington. In baseball, I'm running on this White Sox train right now, guys. The White Sox are doing very, very well covering every time I've been hitting them right now. If I look at my board, the last 3 times, I wanted to make sure I had it all perfectly written down, but I didn't have time. So I was at 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Last 4 times I bet on the Chicago White Sox, they have won for me. They won me a few dollars, especially last night. We're doing a lot better. The record is still near around the 50% mark, but we're still under. We are 80 wins, 86 losses, 2 draws. We are we're minus $7.79 into the negative. But if you looked closely, you guys know that we were down $26 at one point. We have been grinding hard to get back into the positive, and we have gotten there. May we were sitting at $26 because we had a couple of bad days, but those bad days are behind us. We have had nothing but 50% or better since May 9th here at North Sports Dynasty. I am proud of this because we have also had our first perfect night on May 12th where we had 5 wins for a plus $8.83. Remember, all bets are $2. That's how we make sure that we can actually do all the math here properly. For all the fans who are like, how you guys made $8? That makes no sense. Well, just, you know, if you take and you do $1, you cut that in half. If you turn it into basically $100, right, you cut it in half and you add 2 zeros. If you do my bet, then you're doing $200 or 20 bets and all that shit and blah, 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 blah. We do $2 so that it gives you an idea of what you bet for yourselves. This is also to make sure that if anybody ever comes at me and they're like, Andrew, are you just writing down wins and stuff like that as you see fit and trying to blah, blah, blah? No, I don't do that shit. I also have it all set up in my bodog.ca account where it is all our odds are from. Most of the time, I also go and check OddsShark. That also gives us some good bets. I hate this damn thing already. I'm just going to hold it down here so that's better. I can still hear you. So, that being said, let's get into a couple of Dynasty talks before we get into the NHL playoff preview where the Red Wings are going to win the cup. The first overall
there's a problem with that. Yeah.
No. So in Dynasty, we are finally done our draft. It took a little while, but we got there.
Yeah.
It was a slow fucking process. Thank you, everybody. We're finally getting there. Trade after trade after trade. You guys saw some of the major trades that we had. After that, a lot has happened since. In regards to trades, there wasn't anything too major. Everything else was just kind of like your basic second round picks and third round picks and fourth round picks being traded for third round picks and fourth round picks and future fourth round picks. That's how it usually goes. A couple of players were traded here and there to help with some depth and stuff like that. But the big one that we had last night is I started it off with I didn't put this one up here, but I traded 2 tight ends, and I got a second and 2 fourths over to the Big Wiz, which was nice. But then me and you decided, because I was at work and I had to go use the shitter, and I decided to go looked at my roster, saw an opportunity to possibly get Godwin and some depth at the running back, because I know that you have the same type of love that I do for Hawkins, just unless they sign somebody.
He was number 1 on my sleeper list. I was so mad when you took him.
Yeah. So I used that against you, and I knew it. Demetric Felton is also someone that we both very, very much loved, and I knew that giving you 2 defensive depth, giving you some bench depth is something that you needed. So I originally threw in Goddard, but he was gone to the trade for that second and 2 fourths. So we did a little. You sent me a counter offer this morning. I woke up, I looked at it, and I was like, "Fuck it, Godwin is on my team," and that's all that matters. Godwin is now on my team, and he is home. And that is the big trade that we have had. And now Alex has his old pick back.
Yeah.
Which is something that I did want to keep, just because I wanted to keep a first rounder. But I got a different plan. I'm going to go into this offseason now. Only because I lost it, and my roster is now exactly the way that I wanted it. Because the schedule came out. And when the schedule came out, we had to look at our obvious bye weeks and this, that, and everything else. And of course, because the fantasy football gods hate me, they said, "Fuck you, Faubert. You want to trade for all these good players, it's fine, but they're not all going to be spread across the season for you, my guy." I said, "All right, fuck you." So I can't play my 2 top wide receivers in week 11, and I can't play my 2 top running backs in week 7. Oh, well.
Do I play you either of those weeks?
That's a good question. I don't even know if you do. But those are the 2 weeks I know for sure. Can't be playing Dalvin and Taylor together, and I can't be playing Golladay and Diggs. So I had to make some trades. Obviously, Godwin helps because he is a week 9, and Sermon is in there. I think is a week 7, but he is a depth player, and I have figured out what I'm going to do for the rest of it. So I don't good.
Play those weeks.
So we are good here on my side. You have got some good depth on your side. We have put it up on Twitter as well. They are now on these little polls. I said I was going to do it last week. I obviously have failed everybody and did not. So they are not there, or they weren't there until today. They got a couple of votes now, so you can go there and vote at the North Sports Dynasty page on Twitter. So now let's get into this playoff preview.
Yes.
The hockey time. Before I do that, I just wanted to make sure that I can get this bad boy shared on a certain platform. So let's dive in. Let's go with the Canada division first. Let's go to the North, because obviously we're Canadian. We want to make sure that we talk about the Canadians first. And let's talk about them. The Montreal Canadiens are taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. Even though I should be saying it's the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Montreal Canadiens. But I think Montreal is a very highly underrated underdog.
Absolutely. Yes.
And people are not talking about it as much as they should be. Listen, Montreal and Toronto have not played each other since 1979 in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Every time that these teams have been really, really good, it has not mattered how good you can be. It only matters is if you can beat the other one of your rivals. That has been known across history with the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers, the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings, the Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto and Montreal, Edmonton and Calgary, Montreal and Boston, Toronto and Boston. Chicago is in there as well. We'll just throw them in there because they're original 6. Fuck also Chicago. But we've always had these beautiful Sorry, here we go. We've always had these beautiful rivalries exist in hockey. And now we get to see one of the biggest ones ever come out and finally take place on a big grand stage like this. And so I personally cannot wait to see what is going to go on and how it's going to go on. And who's going to play who well, who's not going to play who well. Now, looking at it analytically, it should be Toronto.
Should be.
It should be Toronto.
I don't have that.
I don't have that either.
I've got Montreal in 7.
Yeah, Montreal in 7.
Yeah.
I have also Montreal. I would say Montreal 6 or 7. I'm not building mine as we go. I just put mine up there. Montreal 6 or 7 here. I'll even hold on. Yeah, Montreal. Where is it? There we go. Montreal. This was actually sorry. I got to put it on this one. That's the board to make.
Yeah, I've got my prediction, and then I'll fill the actual.
That's okay. Yeah. See, I have to do my prediction one. I got Montreal basically in 6 or 7. It would seem appropriate that it does go to 7. They have 2 goalies, and everyone in Toronto is like, "Oh, we got Jack Campbell. You got Jack shit." In my opinion,
he's been good in the regular season. Let's see how he holds up in the playoffs.
I've seen so many goalies do good in the regular season and do nothing in the playoffs.
And we saw last year, Hudobin did hardly anything in the regular season and went off in the playoffs.
Exactly. Like I'll take David Ayers at this point. I don't care. Like, come on. It's Toronto is going to win games that they need to by like scores of 5-1, 6-2.
They're going to explode for a couple games.
Yeah, say Montreal gets like the first 2 games, you can almost guarantee that game 3 is going to be Toronto by like 5 goals.
Oh, yeah.
Can almost guarantee that. To say it's a sweep is not going to happen.
No.
Montreal may get like a 3-1 series lead, but Toronto is going to win that next game. Toronto may make a great push in the 6th game, and if they do win it, that's where I think they're going to lose that energy in the 7th game. I don't see Toronto built with beefy guys enough yet to actually make a deep run against someone like the Tampa Bay Lightning or, meeting up with the Colorado Avalanche or something like that. So it doesn't seem logical. I think both of us got Montreal winning in 6 or 7. That's going to piss off a lot of our Ontarian family members and stuff. And frankly, I do not care. That's just the way that we see it. Now, on the other side of things, we also got the Edmonton Oilers that are going to be hosting basically the Winnipeg Jets in a 7-game series. Connor McDavid is going to be taking on Pierre-Luc Dubois, Mark Scheifele, and company. It's going to be quite an interesting series because this one, in my opinion, is there is 3 teams that are the top in the North, obviously. Montreal has no business playing Toronto and winning, in our opinion, obviously. But the Jets are a team that has depth. The Jets are a team that has a goalie as well, a proven goalie, a Vezina winning trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the Oilers have McDavid and Draisaitl.
2 top 5 players.
2 top 5 players. And a lot of people will come at me and say, that's what's going to do it. I am taking the Jets in 6.
I'm taking the Oilers in 6.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are going to come at me, and this is the reason why.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's Winnipeg in 6, though, to be honest.
No, and I don't even think Oiler fans would be shocked if it was the Winnipeg Jets in 6 either.
Yeah.
I think what you want to see in all this is you want to see McDavid start going off, obviously, but we saw what happened in 2006 when you have an old goalie and you got to get the old goalie to be the one that is the only thing holding you. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Like Habib Bulin, okay, maybe he did it back in the day and helped a little bit. Okay, that's awesome. Dominic Hasek did it for us. That's awesome as well. Mike Smith is not one of these goalies. Mike Smith is an Olympic backup. I mean, and then Koskinen, if you're going to put faith in Koskinen, your whole season's gone right there. Your whole playoff run has gone right there. I am not denying that Connor McDavid and Draisaitl will not do good, but I do not think that they're going to be the Jets. Now, please tell me why it's the other way.
Oh, I put it on the fact that in this first round, I think it's just going to be literally kind of the opposite of what you just said. I have McDavid and Draisaitl just pushing just enough to get it through. See, I'm looking at a lot of 4-3, 5-4 scores, like a lot of high-scoring games. I don't trust Winnipeg's back end, their defense. They've got a good goalie, but at the same time, you need people to stop shots in front of you.
That's okay. That's not a bad point. I'll give you that. You're not wrong. It's fair. But the Jets, flying V's and stuff like that.
And I will say this, both teams are extremely inconsistent.
Very, very.
So if they're both on their game, it can go either way. But if one of them catches an off night, look out.
And people will knock on me and be like, well, Edmonton can start playing together because they've been there for a while and this, that, and everything else. They're like your old Red Wings. I'm like, dude, first of all, don't throw that at me because that would hurt.
Our Red Wings won the Cup every few years. So
exactly.
And we did it without multiple first overall picks.
This is also very positive, but also very true. They're going to score, and the fact that both teams are so inconsistent makes this a very wild card type of series that I don't necessarily want to bet on. I'm going to. So, but yeah, I still got the Jets. The Oilers are probably going to smack me in the face with this, and I can totally understand. But I am still going to go with the Jets. Oilers are probably still going to win. But that has been our first round prediction of the North anyway. We'll go with what is that one? We got the Hurricanes and the Preds, and then we got the Panthers and then the Lightning.
That's the Central.
The Central there. So Carolina versus the Preds. I don't necessarily. Carolina's a really good regular season team, and they're a really good Cinderella story, I guess you would say, because of all the players that they got. And, Jordan Stahl from Thunder Bay, my hometown, is an awesome person and an awesome player. And all the Stahls are amazing players. But my God, have you seen Nashville play lately?
Yeah. I still don't have it much of a matchup, but
see, and this is the only real underdog that I'm taking in the first round.
Interesting.
I actually think just the way, and we've seen it happen in the NHL before, teams that start winning towards the end of the season are teams that start doing really consistently good in the playoffs. And I definitely see that being the case here with the Preds, only because Carolina's goalie is still young. And young goalies usually get their ass kicked one time in the playoffs, and then they usually start coming back and they start proving themselves. Carey Price kicked Halak out of town. The kid Carter Hart started kicking all the goalies out of Philadelphia out of town. So all it's going to take is for them to lose one series. The guy do it the next season and start getting deep into the playoffs, prove everybody wrong. It's all going to be fine. This is where I think this would be good for Carolina, because then next year when you actually have a full season and you've lost to the Predators, I don't think it's going to be like a sweep. I think this is Preds in 6, but it's something where, they're going to lose the first 2 games. They're going to win one, lose one again, get that other one, think they're back on track because they can start winning the next few games. And then Preds are just going to shut them down in game 6. I know there's a lot of talent, but man, the Preds are playing good.
They are. I couldn't pass up the talent on Carolina. That's such a good, deep roster. I got Carolina in 5.
Nice. Carolina in 5 would also be another. Yeah, I could see that. I could also see Carolina just sweeping them out of there. But Hasek did amazing when he was 40 with us. So
I don't see any sweeps in the first round. I will say that.
No.
Everyone wins at least one game.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if there is any sweeps. Last year, I was just so weird because you had so many non-playoff teams in it too. So
yeah.
And then you got the Florida teams, the Panthers versus the Lightning. I got a very close one. I have this one going to 7, and I'm gonna take the Lightning only because they've won the Stanley Cup before. Panthers are a team that are up and coming. I think that they're there. I think that they're the consistent team, but the Lightning are really good. The Lightning are stacked. They got Kucherov coming back. He's the game 6-7 masters that can come in and help winning here. I I don't really see it being too much of a fight, but in regards to like high scoring games, I think it'd be more like tight and stuff like that. I think it'd be more of like a chess instead of checkers.
Yeah.
And I think it goes to 7. What do you got?
I got Lightning in 6.
You got Lightning in 6, eh?
Yeah. I love that roster. Florida's a really good team, and I think Bobrovsky can steal them a couple games. But Tampa's too talented and too deep.
Tampa is a great team.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not that big of a fan of them, but whatever. Now we'll go back to the other side. We'll go with the Pittsburgh versus the Islanders. That would be the West?
East,
thank you.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have you. So Penguins versus Islanders. I also have this being a bit of an upset because the Islanders are playing very, very well as of late. Penguins are still got a couple of spots that they need help with. I got the Islanders taking it in 6, only because Barry Trotz is that what you got?
Yeah, Islanders in 6.
Yeah, okay. So if we got that, I think we're both seeing the same thing. It's a team that's well built.
They made the Eastern Conference Finals last season.
Exactly. And last season I even said this could be the Cinderella run we've all been looking for. And to be honest, the other side, everyone's like Malkin, Crosby, this and that. Yeah, okay. But your goalies are being very inconsistent right now. So I don't. Yeah. And whereas, it can be said the same thing on the Islanders side, I don't think it's as bad. So let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what could happen. We both got them taken in 6. So it is what it is. Islanders go on. I think this next round, though, would be fun because they got to play the winner of Boston and Washington,
which will be a hell of a series.
I cannot wait.
Both Washington, Boston, and the winner of that versus the Islanders. Either one's a hell of a series. I may just throw a fire on and have my tablet outside and just watch it. Interesting.
That would be fun. And I'd obviously invite you, but we're in fucking lockdown. So that being said, Boston and Washington play game 1 tonight. As you can see, I already taken my pick. It is coming across the board
fairly soon.
Great. There it is. I'm going to wait till it gets to me, though, and then I'm going to boop it. Ready? Boop. Okay, so Boston and Washington. There we go. I got Washington. There we go. Taking game 1 plus odds. That means you're going to get some money. Now, this is only game 1. I do think that Boston can probably win it. I'm thinking Washington still does in 7. What do you got?
Yeah, I've got Washington in 7. I went back and forth on this one for probably a good 15, 20 minutes. And I just took Washington. I was just like, okay, got to go with my gut. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say which one of these teams are going to do because it's they're both really good goon teams. They both have a lot of skill on them. There's a lot of youth still on them. But Chara is not on Boston anymore. He's on the Capitals. No. And that's going to be funny to see what's going to happen on that side too. So, well, and this forward matchup is intense. Washington, you've got Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Oshie, Mantha, Backstrom, and then Boston, you've got Pasternak and Bergeron and Marchand and Hall, and it's just oh my god. Spread the talent around a little bit. Yeah, it's a really good matchup for sure. I can't wait to actually watch that game tonight. It's fun. And then going down to the last division, we have so that would be the East. West. There we go. We got Colorado versus St. Louis. It also took me a little bit here. I didn't want to just say Colorado sweep. And I also didn't want to just say Colorado in 5. I got this going to 7. I do have Colorado winning. The only reason is because St. Louis is playing so fucking good as of late. That's why I gave them 2 games. I got Colorado in 6. So Colorado is inconsistent when it comes to games that matter. That is something that I've looked at across the board and across the whole schedule. There we go. They win these great games against subpar teams to really shitty teams, and then when they got to play good teams in the early parts of the season, they didn't play very well. They're playing better as of late, and people will use that against me.
But Vegas has consistently played against good teams all season. Minnesota has played consistently against good teams all season. St. Louis has started to do it at the end of the season. Like, they've been playing bad against shitty teams. I would rather play bad against shitty teams. So
there was a good chunk of the season there where Tarasenko, Schwartz, like all their main guys were out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really fault them for that.
Nope.
This is a talented team that's, 2-3 years out of winning the Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
And most of the core pieces are still there.
Like the St. Louis Blues won a Stanley Cup here with like nobody. I'm not saying nobody, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They didn't have no Crosbys. They didn't have no Ovechkins. They didn't have no Fleuries. They didn't have nothing like that. They had the team that they built, and that was the beautiful part about it. And then you go down to Golden Knights versus Mini. I do have the Golden Knights winning, and I do have the Golden Knights winning in 6, but don't be surprised if Minnesota puts on a show and could win it, but I'm not taking that. I am going to take Vegas in 6. What do you got?
I took Vegas in 5.
Oh.
To me, Vegas right now is just – I know Colorado won the President's Trophy. Vegas is the best overall team right now, I think. So I think it's just too much for Minnesota to handle.
So many people are scared of what the Golden Knights can do. Like, they're a very, 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 very scary team.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's no joke that they're like, they're there and they're going to do damage. And if they get past Minnesota, like Minnesota, people are going to thank Minnesota if they can slow them down to the second, third, and fourth round. But if they can if they can literally storm front fucking Minnesota, it's over. It's absolutely over.
Oh yeah.
So,
which, by the way, I cannot wait for that Vegas Colorado second round.
I say,
to me, the two best teams in hockey going at it early.
Man, Tyson. Tyson scored 2 goals the other day too, and he's been playing a lot better. Kim is going to be having a hell of a time being like, "Oh, Tyson scored against my team." Yeah. So. Got some comments here. Mike popped in. Hey, boys, what's up?
He really popped in.
Yeah, how you doing there, buddy? Talking hockey. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know you're a Blackhawks fan. Even though, like I said, I'm not a big fan. It's one of my hated teams, but I do respect the shit out of you for being a Blackhawks fan because you're not one of those cocky ones.
I'm a loyal one at that for that long.
Yep. So he's got all of his predictions here. He's got Canes in 4, which is interesting. Jets in 6, like I said. Bolts in 6 as well. Leafs in 5. Launch, that's right. I like that. Launch in 5. That's cool. Islanders in 7. Nice. Caps in 6, just like us. Or no, we got 7.
Yeah, we got 7.
And then Vegas in 5, just like you. And then he's got, I made my picks. Am I the only guy in the chat? Yes, you are. We got a quiet show today, but that's okay. You know how we do. We just run the show. That's how we do every Saturday, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We know it's a small show. We just growing it. We getting our stuff, still in order. It's 10 shows in, and we've kind of finally gotten like this nice little platform, this nice little ground, the stage that I built, literally, that we stand on. But, we're still in quarantine and stuff like that. There's things that we want to do, and there's videos that I would like to go and make. I can't necessarily go and make them. I would like to go kick now that I got my For the Brand stuff, and I finally
saw that.
Yeah. Finally got some gear. Actually, hold on. Let's see if I can show you this too. All right, 1 second. There we go.
Oh,
cutting dimes and suck it signs. The Aaron Rodgers shirt. I like it. Whoop.
Is that another McAfee one?
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds like Pat.
Yeah, he advertised that for Rodgers there a while ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really did like that shirt. That's why I bought it. There was this shirt, obviously. And to be completely, I thought this was going to be the same fabric as that shirt. That shirt's like a normal, say go to Spencer's or Warehouse One and get one of their shirts. It's still nice though, just to have. I don't think I'll ever like wear it unless I'm actually at an event. But I bought it specifically just for what it says. But this, oh my God, I thought was going to be exactly like that. No. This is not it at all. It is like, I don't even know what is. It's like my sweatpants. Like it's like silk or whatever. And I was like it's real material, like real, like sports material. And it surprised the shit out of me because, like, you pay $60, and I'm not complaining about the price. Pay anything like that for a show, like if we did it and stuff like that. Like if we started buying shirts and started selling them, that'd be great. But yeah, I was so surprised. I was like, this is quite nice. Like this is really nice. I don't know, hold myself in this thing. And then Kim has stolen it from me a few times, so I have to buy her one now. But yeah, that's just, I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. And I would like I said, I would like to go out and we would like to do a little bit more content from outside, but we can't. We're still in lockdown. It's just the way it is. When we get out of it, we'll start making better content. But we made 10 episodes. We've had no fuck ups. We've had episodes where we've had a lot of views. We also went live for 7.5 hours in 2 days.
Yeah.
Which is intense.
Yeah.
And then we have also, brought in some guests and stuff like that. And it's been absolutely nice. What else do you say? Nice to talk puck. Yep. That's what.
Yeah, it's been so much football stuff recently. It was nice to bring up hockey.
Florida, buddy. Yeah, let me get that vaccination soon. I actually got a call back on Monday and see if I can get it in. Everybody decided to flood the market, I guess you would say, which is fine. I got no problems with it. If I got to wait a little bit longer, that's fine. I'm still going to get it.
I got mine booked for the 28th.
Hey, there you go. Good job.
So I'm going to Pittsburgh in November, hopefully.
Yeah, that's right. You are. I know you were talking about that trip, and you're like,
I cannot wait.
So Alex has got this big thing where he wants to see his future quarterback, possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And my two favorite teams.
Yeah, and his two favorite teams playing, which is going to be awesome. So hopefully I can get down in Florida sometime this year. A lot of the tickets are way too expensive. It's like,
well, you guys did just win the Super Bowl.
And I totally expected that. I even said that on so many shows. I was like, if I expect to pay $25, it's fucking joking. It's like it's $125 for the cheap seats, which, hold on. Ba-ba, right up at the top there. And boom, haha, that's me. I got a new intro made for me, which was nice.
Nice.
So, and for anybody who is tuning in right now, so the couple of people who are tuning in right now, I know Johnny's probably not here, so I'll say it, and then he'll be like, "What tomorrow?" And whoever is seeing this, you don't say anything. Alex will be coming in tomorrow for a little bit. That's right. He'll be tuning in from the cheap seats. I'll send him an invite. He'll probably pop in after about like 20 minutes. I'm going to randomly do it too. Like literally random. I just want to fucking scare Johnny and be like, hey, Johnny, I got someone who's got something to say to you, man. And he's not happy. And I'm just going to pop in. And be like, he's fucking tired of your lying takes. Just to screw with him. And it's going to be so beautiful.
Yeah.
That would be really nice here. Mike, I had my first shot 3 weeks ago. Good job.
Nice.
Tickets are so stupid. I paid $108 last year. Now it's over $400. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Makes sense, though. Makes sense. And I get it. So a quick early look at the NBA here and what looks to be like the play-in games and stuff like that.
Most of the stuff's pretty well set.
Is most of the stuff pretty well set?
Like, I think the play-in for the West is locked in tomorrow because it's all based on Portland. So Portland, so the Lakers have to win their last two games and Portland has to lose Sunday for the Lakers to climb out and the Blazers to go into the play-in. If the Blazers win tomorrow, it's locked. Lakers will be 7 and Warriors 8, Grizzlies 9, Spurs 10. Perfect.
And the way that this playoff is 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 play each other, right?
Yeah, so 7 and 8 play. For winner of that just gets the 7 seed automatically. 9 and 10 play. The winner of that plays the loser 7 and 8, and the winner of that game gets the 8 seed.
That's what I figured. So to look at, we'll just use the West because we were there. 7th right now is the Lakers. 8th is Golden State. Memphis is sitting there at 9, and San Antonio is sitting there at 10. If I was a betting man, I would probably think Lakers and Golden State, but Memphis is also on a 5-game winning streak, just like Golden State. So LeBron also comes back tonight.
I think the fact that either the Lakers or the Warriors have to lose 2 games to get out, I think that's going to be hard to have happen.
I also agree.
Especially the way Steph's playing for Golden State right now. Like, I do think the Lakers win the 7-8 8 game and take the 7 seed. And I think the Warriors beat. I'm going to go with the Grizzlies and take that 8 seed. Grizzlies just miss out.
Yeah, I think if Jaw's not fully healthy, I think wait till next year, get a couple more good players like youth and stuff like that, start building from within. You guys will be fine.
Jaw was in and out of the lineup all year. Jaren Jackson missed a chunk of time.
Yep.
Like, you get this team fully together, that's a playoff team next year, the way it is now.
And then looking at the East here, Boston is sitting at 7, Charlotte's sitting at 8, Indiana's at 9, and Washington is sitting at 10. I still don't like the idea of ever allowing a under 500 team into the playoffs. I just think, like, if you look at it, so Memphis is 38 and 33. So if they're, say, the bubble team, this is just me. This is just me the way I think of it's always should have been. If they're the West and they're eliminated, you take the 38 and 33 team, bring it all the way up, and you find out, okay, so they're better than Boston. Okay, so you put them at the 7th spot. That's just, you would put them at the 7th spot. Boston would drop down to 8th, and Charlotte would be out of the playoffs. And now all of a sudden, Boston at 500 is the last playoff spot. That would make sense because if you go across the board everywhere else, San Antonio is not 500, and nobody in the East would be 500. So that means the people like that team would have to play to be 500 to even get close to it.
Now, at the same time, though, the counter argument to that is if one of these 500 or below 500 teams gets in, which one of them will in the East, they're earning their way in.
Yes, I know. I get it. But I also think, like, someone who's earned all those wins and stuff like that should have an equal opportunity more so, or should have had more of an opportunity to win in the playoffs than somebody who's lost like 4 or 5 more games than them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So they do got to figure it out a little bit differently. These playoff things, I do agree with LeBron, are just dumb.
It's more games for the league, more money. Like, I understand that part, but just put the 8 teams from each conference in. If you've got that tiebreaker, then do it, but just leave it the way it is.
Because the way that you got it set right now, like if we're looking at the East, the one thing that really could happen is because Charlotte is just starting to get back a couple players, and they've also lost a couple of players due to injury. Yeah. Washington could easily beat Indiana and then get in at, like, say 35 and 38.
Well, Washington can still climb up to the 8th seed. They can be 8, 9, or 10. Boston's locked into 7, but 8, 9, and 10 is all fluid right now. That's basically what I mean. Is like Boston would beat out Charlotte, which I do think is going to happen. And then Washington would beat the Pacers. It'd be a fun game, though. Yep. Washington would beat the Pacers. And then Washington would beat the flipping Hornets because you got 2 All-Stars on that team. And I do think All-Stars would beat a developing youth team that is still really, really good in the Charlotte Hornets. But yeah. And I want the Hornets in the playoffs so bad. I do too. They've been so fun to watch this year.
I also do think that they would benefit from just having another lottery pick and like being able to get one more young player in that rotation. I do think so, but it's
I mean, the difference though is going to be pick 13, 14 or 15, 16 because I don't think they're going to do any damage to Brooklyn or Philly if they get in.
I mean, yeah. I don't think any of these 8-seeded teams would do too much. Well, I mean, the Warriors could.
The Warriors and Jazz would be a fun series.
Yeah, I could.
Because how do you stop Steph? Steph would eat Gobert alive, going in there and just like it's easy pick and roll, and you have Gobert on Steph, and he just dribbles around and throws it up.
Shoot threes over me, and you know it'd be funny. It'd be so much fun to hear Steph because it would sound like he would say Kobe, but every time he'd shoot a 3 over Gobert, and he'd be like COVID. COVID. Like, who started the COVID? He'd be like, I didn't even fucking start the bullshit. And then you go to like SWAT it, you get ejected and stuff. Oh, yeah. I'm all for it. All for it. I also think he should get a year suspension. That's just me. That shit was done. I was also very pissed off when the fucking pandemic started. But I also was like, how is he getting away with this? Like, this is bullshit. So, now, looking at just a couple of quick matchups, let's just assume Golden State would get 8, Las Vegas stays 7, and let's just assume everything stays the same in the East, like Boston and Charlotte would get in, right? So go to the West, Utah, and the Golden State Warriors. If you want to bet on an upset, I would bet on that one, but still I would take Utah in 7 just until Clay and company came back and were healthy, because then Golden State would be the unstoppable force that I think.
Now that's that matchup of Steph, Draymond, James Wiseman against Mitchell and Gobert would be fun.
Oh yeah,
that's a fun set of 7 games.
Suns and Lakers would also be an interesting one, just because if LeBron and Davis come back healthy, they won the title last year. Though you are playing a very young and talented Phoenix Suns team that really just needed Chris Paul. So, I
don't know if you have if Schroeder's healthy, then you've got to pick which one he covers of Booker and Paul, and then how do you stop the other one?
Yep. I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult.
I've still got Lakers in 6, though.
Yeah, I would still take the Lakers in that one. If it all fell today, Denver would be taking on Portland. That would be an interesting matchup.
Wait, so that would be Clippers Mavs rematch again. Oh, yes. Please.
Give me the Clippers and Mavs.
That was such a fun series last year.
That was. And then
if Doncic didn't get hurt, they were taking that.
And it really screwed up the Clippers in the second round, too.
Yeah.
They had to play a good team like that. So, Portland, I think, would do a lot of damage to Denver just because they don't have Jamal Murray.
Yeah, it sucks that they're in this place now without Jamal, because I think it's probably one and done.
Yeah. Though don't sleep on them next year, guys. The Nuggets team is really good. As
soon as they were at the trade deadline, go back and look. I said this team could win the title this year.
It's true. That is true. And they could have if Jamal didn't go down, because they were doing those fourth quarter comebacks and winning me so much money this year. I fucking loved it.
Roster, Jamal and Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. It's just oh my God.
They traded to get there. So, and I'm not saying that they can't do damage because they are a 3rd seed, but Portland still has dimes, or dimes, whatever you call them. Going to the East, Philadelphia would take the Hornets. Let's call it what it is, 4-1. Charlotte would be happy just to win 1 game in that.
Yeah.
I don't see that being an upset as much as I think LaMelo would do very well against Philly. I think Philly's
not against Ben Simmons.
Nope. Brooklyn versus Boston. This should not be a matchup that happens in the first round.
That sounds like a 2nd or 3rd round matchup.
But because of the injuries that are happening to Boston right now, I think Boston can win 2, and that's what I would put it at. They can win these hard grinding games against Brooklyn, because Brooklyn doesn't play very well defense at all.
I was just going to say, it all depends on how well they can shoot, because it's going to be a lot of high scoring, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to stop Durant, Harden, and Kyrie.
Not when all three are on there. It's going to be
high scoring on their side.
For sure. And they're going to be
defense is awful.
Yeah. And they're going to we don't even care about playing defense. Just go ahead. We're just going to shoot threes all day. We'll let Harden get 34. Durant will go off for 35. Irving will get 39 or 29 or whatever.
I'd be excited for that Durant and Jason Tatum matchup. That would be fun.
That is going to be a lot of fun. Milwaukee's going to take on the Knicks by the looks of things right now.
That's a fun matchup. That's a really interesting one.
The Knicks have no business being here.
I disagree.
Congratulations to them anyway. I'm just always going to hate on the Knicks because I think James Dolan is a horrible fucking owner.
He is.
I think the Knicks should have always put money into that organization. This is one of the most expensive organizations of all time, and they've finally, we're talking about them now because they finally made, they're making a playoff run. It's ooh, congratulations.
I'm gonna bite on this. I'm gonna call an upset.
Ooh.
I'm gonna call Knicks in 7.
I'm gonna go find the odds on this because I'm gonna take your money. I'm done. No, that's actually, it's not bad. If any, honestly, you should put money on that too because I think Vegas would laugh in your face too. But if you look
Jeff
at
Raswell's gonna hate me for that.
I think it wouldn't be bad to do it because they do have a few more players than Milwaukee. Milwaukee just obviously has the big X factor, being a Antetokounmpo.
But New York has the big guys to lock it down inside.
Exactly. So yeah, that'd be an interesting matchup for sure, dude.
Yeah.
And then our final one of the first round would be Atlanta, Miami. Trae Young back?
I believe so. Let me look.
Okay. Because if Trae Young is back, this is going to be a lot closer of a series than it actually should be. He's back. Okay. So when they made that trade for Capella, and they knew Trae just needed that like pick and roll type player down inside, it honestly, it made sense. And when you started seeing him play with like another good player, I mean, now they got 40 wins. Like the Atlanta Hawks are respectively back like what they used to be.
Now just imagine if John Collins was there and consistently healthy.
Exactly. Or if they had another player, you know what I mean?
Like Hunter was consistently healthy, or
any of the other guys that they've drafted. Mm-hmm. Or that Colby White trade that apparently was coming down before that I had heard. Like if you had added just him into the rotation or just a couple of other rotational players into Atlanta, Atlanta's going to be good. Trae Young is a really good player.
Yeah.
The trade between Atlanta and the Mavericks, switching Doncic and Trae Young back in the day, is still going to like either haunt both teams, or one team eventually will be like, or both teams are going to be like, okay, good. I'll accept what I had and you accept what you had, which is I have an MVP and you have an MVP. Good job. That being said, Miami Heat went to the finals last year, and Jimmy Butler ain't somebody to fuck with.
Well, him and Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo.
Dragic, I think, is still there.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, there's still a deep roster. It's still basically the same team that they got. So.
And they added Oladipo.
Yep. Oladipo is one of my favorites. Right now, Atlanta would have the home advantage, but obviously we'd have to see just, the last couple of games and how they start playing out here.
Yeah.
If Trae Young is healthy, I'm going to take Hawks in 7.
I got Miami in 6.
It would seem appropriate to take Miami. I think Trae Young could finally do it because he's got a little bit of help, but it wouldn't obviously surprise me for the Heat to go on to the next round there.
I just don't think Atlanta has enough perimeter defense.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. I'm switching mine. I'm going to say Miami in 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say Miami in 7. Yeah, that's a very good point. Fucking forgot about that. All right. Go back to the fans here. We're about over an hour in. It's not actually that bad. And then
I just remembered one thing I forgot off the news too.
Yeah.
And it's baseball related. So some possible relocation news.
Yeah,
look at the Oakland A's to possibly become the Las Vegas Athletics, or maybe they changed their team name. I don't know, but
you got to keep that. You got to.
They've been going. I would think so, but you never know.
Yeah.
They've been going back and forth with the city of Oakland for years. They're playing in the Coliseum still, which is a terrible baseball stadium.
Oh yeah.
And there's a reason the Raiders left. It's because of that stadium. Yeah, Vegas is obviously looking for every sports team under the sun.
Yeah.
So they've started poking and being like, hey, so if that doesn't work, can we have them? Like, so look, possibly to have the Las Vegas Athletics and the Montreal Expos back with the Tampa Bay Rays probably going there in the next couple of years.
That would be awesome. I cannot wait to see what actually happens to them. I have said actually at work, they got to keep the logo. They got to keep the branding and everything like that, just because it's iconic. It's been there forever. So let's hope and see. My cat is hi. She has finally come out of her she got fixed the other day and she's finally found her voice here. So it's a good thing we're kind of coming to the end here, because now she's probably going to howl at the door. But we'll get to the fans here. The couple of fans that we've had today. Like I said, it's a slow episode, but we know that. Not every episode is going to have a huge, huge gathering. We know that. Yeah. It's also the dead season, so it just happens. Arwin. Come here. You silly girl. Mike says tickets are so stupid. That's right. NBA, not my realm. If it's not ice or grass, I have no clue. That's fair.
Well, let us teach you.
Yeah, we're always here to help you, buddy. You want to be a Raptors fan? You want to be any other fan, or you just want to?
Yeah, pick another team.
Don't pick any of my teams either. If you just want to pick, or you just want to listen and stuff like that, we'll at least keep you in the loop of basketball. We only do it because we're big basketball fans. We got a couple of basketball fans who have always asked us to do the same. Is Alex a Canuck? How dare you? Remember, Canuck is an offensive term. No, just kidding. Yes, he is. Yeah, he lives technically, say, 45 minutes away from me. We work at the same place. So, yeah. But yes, he is a Canuck. He is also from Ontario-ish. It's like the Windsor, Detroit area, I believe, right?
Yeah. Sarnia, yeah.
Sarnia, there we go. Kyle tuned in today. Says, how's it go, boys? How's it going?
How we doing?
You guys do NHL draft coverage. Also, we do all NHL coverage. Like we will do our mock drafts 1.0, which will probably be
once the lottery gets set, I'd assume.
Yeah, once the lottery is usually set, that's when we're going to do it. Or we do like our 1.0 would probably be like what we assume by just the actual standings.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the 1.0 of being the actual picks and stuff like that. We also are going to do the Seattle Kraken coverage. We are going to be giving away a Seattle Kraken jersey to any of the fans who can, successfully guess how many players are going and picked to the Seattle Kraken from every team. We will figure out the details the closer it gets to that, obviously.
Yes.
Oakland A's Moneyball Part 2.
Vegas A's Moneyball.
And, listen, the only thing for me is if you're going to put it in Vegas, you need a fucking stadium that has a roof. There's no way. The Diamondbacks play in a dome stadium, don't they?
Well, it like opens and closes.
Yeah.
It's one of those, yeah.
Yeah, so it needs to be able to open and close. And people are like, oh, well, Allegiant Stadium. Don't put the Raiders in a fucking baseball stadium anymore. Just build another.
Give the A's their own stadium.
They already got their own stadium for the Las Vegas team. They got their own stadium for the Raiders. If you're going to bring the Oakland A's down, give them their own stadium. I would actually be more for that. And you know what? And if you keep doing crap like this, you're going to make my wife want to move to Vegas, and I'm going to start wanting to be okay with this. I'm just saying, I will be the one Buccaneer dude in every freaking Raiders game that's trolling everyone. Be like, yeah, fuck. You want it? Hey, Gruden is a great idea, wasn't he? Yeah. Hey. No, I would. I'd also go to every Golden Knight game with my fiance. I actually don't necessarily hate the Golden Knights. It would be kind of cool to see like more Western teams. So there's that. That would be interesting. If they do go there. Get baseball back to Canada. Should never have left in the first place. Viva la Expos. I also agree.
Yeah, it never should have left there. And a lot of people don't know this. I think you know this, seeing as he's your quarterback now. Brady was actually drafted to be a catcher for the Expos way back.
Yeah, actually.
A lot of these football players were baseball players. Like Mahomes was drafted by my Tigers.
Yep.
And now he owns the rival team in Kansas City.
See, and it's quite funny because there's a few people now who have come to us at work and have been like, oh, Kyler Murray plays games and got drafted. It's like, yep, I do. And the only reason you're bringing this up to me is because, I'm the sports guy. So that's cool. And then I got baseball people doing the same thing. They're like, oh, did you know Kyler Murray this and this, that, and everything else with Brady? And it's like, oh, yeah, definitely know that. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show. An hour and 15 minutes. It's usually how we like to keep it. Yeah. Next week, we are doing our NFL season predictions 1.0 out of 2. Obviously, we do 2.0 right before the season starts. So make sure you tune in for that. So you can follow me on every social media platform at Andrew_Faubert, which is on Twitter. And then you can follow me at Andrew Faubert, obviously, on every other social media platform. My cat's losing her shit. Apologies for that. Alex, tell everybody where they can find you.
Just Alex Loosemore on Facebook, at Loosemore65 on Twitter, and then North Sports Dynasty page on Facebook, at N Sports Dynasty on Twitter. Post there from time to time. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And that's basically it. North Sports Dynasty across all social media platforms, guys. That's where you can follow us, like us, share us, get the word out there. We're building this. Like I said, the first season is just getting me and Alex accustomed to this. We're trying to bring you guys some laughs and some entertainment. Obviously, we do the dynasties and the mock drafts are our babies, as you can see by our website, which is also northsportsdynasty.com. Go check it out. I'm going to be updating a bunch of stuff today on there. Since I have a little bit of time, I'm going to go take the kids outside and get that cat the fuck out of the basement. Thank you all for tuning in. Everybody have yourselves a great weekend.
Yes.
Tune in next week. It's going to be a big show where I'm going to be held accountable by all Buccaneer fans, and Alex will be held accountable.
There you go. You're not going to do this time?
No. I still got to clip that. I forgot to do the 2-minute breakdown. I got to do a couple of them, and that's going to be a funny fucking clip, man. Oh my God. Thank you again for everybody for tuning in. Yes. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, all that fun stuff. You can come and tune in tomorrow at the cheap seats. That's what I do. Boom. There we go. I'll get more logos and stuff like that for it. But that's me. Big beardy. I do the cheat seats for Bucks Report. Follow Bucks Report for all your Tampa Bay news and all of that kind of fun stuff that they got. We will get Loosemore hired on by some Lions company for sure. This is an introductory to him and a platform for him to obviously show what he is capable of, and he is capable of keeping me in line, but also keeping you guys fresh in the mind with all the knowledge that he brings with his big board, my big board, all of our big boards here at North Sports Dynasty. Thank you again, everybody. We will see you next week. Ciao, ciao for now. Wait, hold on. Ciao, hold on. There we, yeah. And ciao, ciao for now.